And just getting underway at the top of the course is the men's Youth B Gene Jessup Hervey Cup. This is the final one. Medal on the line here and trophy on the line here for another 8-boat final, looking to be, I'm sure, another tight one, as all crews are still well within contact, as we're only about 30 seconds into this race, as you might expect. But again, lots of crews already jockeying for the lead all the way across these lanes. So let me set it for you before we begin to tell you what's unraveling on the course. In lane 1 is Marin. Lane 2 is Newport. Lane 3 is Saugatuck. Lane 4, Oakland Strokes. Lane 5, another Newport entry here. Lane 6, Los Gatos. Lane 7 is Pacific. And lane 8, all the way on the outside, is San Diego Rowing Club. Early on, as we get into just the first half, just passing the first 250 meters of this race course, our early leaders are Marin and Newport, but those two, only a few seats separating those two crews. But after maybe 250 meters or so, those are the two crews that started to separate out from the remaining 6 that are in this pack. But again, still very close among those remaining 6. And once we can see more, we will give you more and let you know who is moving, where, and when. But there is speed happening all the way across this race course.
Here. All right, and as we progress down the course, Marin and Newport out in front. Marin with about 4 seats over Newport, and then next closest to them would be lane 4 and 6. That would be Oakland Strokes and Los Gatos. So those are your top 4 crews. Back in the 5th place position, it's going to be Newport B. And then over on the inside, Saugatuck and Saugatuck and San Diego Rowing Club closest to each other. And then in the 8th place position, it is Pacific. But Marin now coming out to about a 7-seat advantage over Newport. Newport looking for open water over Oakland Strokes. And we do have a quick announcement, if you can lend an ear here. It looks like we're missing a trophy. We're putting a call out for the men's F category, men's masters F category. The Orlock trophy seems to be missing. We believe that it had been returned, but it is not there anymore. So if you have the Orlock trophy, if you can please return it to the finish line tent, that would be great. Thank you. Or to the trophy area.
As you can see from that previous shot, that Marin and Newport were still out, our leaders. But out in lanes 5 and 6, Newport's B entry here in this event, and Los Gatos, who had maintained the 4th place position off of that early portion of the race. Those are the two crews that are kind of trading dukes at this point. They are trading strokes and bow balls to push themselves back up to see if those two crews, now Newport, who was out of the top 4, is looking to find a place in the top 4. So for Newport to have just won the women on the women's side, and then to come out here with two boats in this on the men's side for this cup trophy, to have 2 crews that are vying for the top 4 here, that shows a lot of strength across both sides for that program.
Yeah, both really big programs, of course, with Newport boasting hundreds of kids that go through that program. Same thing with Marin, with Oakland Strokes. Just, really, really big programs. But right now, Marin doing a nice job out again on lane 1, right up against the shoreline. Looks to me as if they might have a bit of open water and broken free of Newport. Newport looking at a challenge from Oakland Strokes, but Oakland Strokes just not quite able to stay in contact with Newport. 4th place does continue to be Saugatuck, but with a challenge by Newport B. Newport B doing a nice job here over in lane 5. Closest to them would be Los Gatos, so we'll keep an eye on the Newport B and Los Gatos battle for placement. And then San Diego Rowing Club from lane 8, they are in the 7th place position, and then Pacific in 8th.
And as to be expected, that third 500 was a deciding factor because Marin and Newport had pretty close contact early on in the race, but ever since then, Marin has walked out utilizing their efficiency and their strength relative to their neighboring crew there in lane 2 of Newport, and they are extending their lead, which will give them just a hair of comfort as they rev up for their sprint. We've seen a lot of good sprints out of all of their crews so far, and keep an eye out on the water and see if you as a spectator can eyeball which crews sprint sooner. Can you notice if their stroke rates go up? Can you notice who has more energy? Look at the body language of the athletes and see if they're doing it together. Can you spot that as we do here in the, well, I would say tower, but we're not in a tower, as we're here on the shoreline as well. Newport still well clear now. You can see that energy carrying them well ahead of, Marin well ahead of Newport here on that inside lane in the black hull, and then 2 lanes over still maintaining their position. Oakland Strokes, who was also one of our earlier, they weren't one of our earlier leaders, or they were one of our earlier leaders, have maintained their 3rd place position. And Saugatuck they put themselves up there. They were also among they were not among the top 4 early on, but they certainly are now. But it is clear water for Marin over Newport, who has clear water over Oakland Strokes, who has a little bit of clear water, even though Saugatuck wants to take it back. They will come across with clear water over Saugatuck, who has almost a length of open water over Newport's B entry, who almost broke free of Los Gatos, with San Diego Rowing Club and the Red Hull on the far side ahead of Pacific. So nearly a length separating each one of those places as they came across. That's between 2 and 3 seconds, depending on the speed of the hull from place to place to place in this men's Youth B Gene Jessup Hervey Cup Final 1. So a trophy and a medal on the line there, and it was Marin who will be taking that home this year.